Go ahead and read.
Endureth all things.
And you got to endure. Because if you endure to the end, you will be saved. Endure. The Lord going to provide all your needs, sisters and brothers. Just hold on, endure. There's going to be some bumps in the road. They're going to be there. But the Lord going to bring his word to pass. Go ahead and read.
Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away.
And all that's going to happen at a set time. Go ahead and read.
For we know in part and we prophesy in part.
Because we only know in part. That is why we prophesy in part. We don't know all things yet. Go ahead and read.
But when that which is perfect is come.
Who is perfect? Jesus. Go ahead and read.
Then that which is in part shall be done away.
Then it's all going to be done because the Lord going to say, hey, it's finished. When the Father kingdom come down, it's finished. Go ahead and read.
When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child.
You know, when I came into this first came to the thing, hey, I acted as a child. I didn't know certain things. I said certain things that I know wasn't too cool. But I was a child then. Go ahead and read.
But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
Because when you in this word, sisters and brothers, you got to grow. You have to grow. You can't be in the same place all the time. That's why you come here and you learn. That you going to die daily. And you're going to learn the do's and the don'ts. Go ahead and read some more.
For now we see through a glass darkly.
We only looking through this thing. We don't see all the way clearly yet. We don't see the big picture yet. Go ahead and read.
But then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even also as I am known.
Go ahead.
And now abideth faith, hope, and charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity.
You see, and now about it, faith, hope, and charity. But charity is the greatest of them all. Because like I said, charity suffer long. It is kind. Don't envy. Don't puff yourself up. Don't brag. Live godly. That's charity. Let's go a little further. Let's go to Colossians 3:11. Look at it some more. We almost there, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't want to say how many. Three and 11. Because we came to Christ. We belong to Christ now. You understand what I'm saying? 3 and 11. We only got 4 short ones after this. 4 short ones, I promise. They're going to be real short. All right? 3 and 11. Go ahead and read, brother.
Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond or free, but Christ is all and in all.
See, Christ is all. You know, we all belong to Christ. You know, bond, free. We understand there's a Jew and they Greeks. We understand. But we all are Christ. Go ahead and read.
Put on, therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering.
See, this is, when you put on Christ, this is what you put on. Read that 12th verse again, man.
Put on, therefore, as the elect of God,
because this thing is about election. And if it's about election, you got to put on the elect of God. And you have to be holy and be loved. Bowels of mercy. Mercy. You got to have mercy, sisters and brothers. You got to have mercy. If you plan on being any kind of a servant of God, you have to have mercy. Because your God is merciful. Truly merciful to us. Go ahead and read.
Kindness, humbleness of mind.
And you got to be humble. In mind. Stop speaking your mind all the time. Learn to shut your mouth. My God. Just run up at the jibs. Come on. Just keep your mouth shut. Humble yourself. If somebody say something you don't like, just be cool. That's going to pass too. Go ahead and read.
Meekness, long-suffering.
Meekness and long-suffering. Because your God is long-suffering with you. And you are supposed to be like your God, long-suffering. Go ahead and read.
Forbearing one another and forgiving one another.
You see that? He said forbearing one another and forgiving one another. How many times you ask Christ to forgive you in one day? Some people lose count, don't they? And here it is, you can't forgive your brother or sister for one thing that he has done or she has done to you. But you're a servant of God. Come on. Keep reading.
If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye.
See that? The Lord is showing you how to operate. But that's what servants of God do. That's what you got to do as a servant of God. Go ahead and read.
And above all these things, put on charity.
Above all things, this charity cover a lot. You got this charity, you got something good going on. Go ahead and read.
Which is the bond of perfectness.
Which is the bond of, because the Lord told Abraham, walk perfect before me. And he wants you to walk perfect before him. You want to walk perfect? Walk in charity. Finish reading that 15. Go ahead and read.
And let the peace of God rule in your hearts.
You let God rule in your heart. Let his peace rule in you. Go ahead and read.
To the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful.
Because that's what we call for. Let's go a little further. Let's read this Galatians 5 and 23. 23. Galatians 5 and 23. 5 and 23. 5 and 23. Go ahead and read.
Meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law.
Because you got to have meekness, and you got to have temperance. Because to be a servant of God, you got to have self-control. You got to learn to control yourself. You warn against the fiery darts of Satan. And you have to learn, you have to have self-control being a servant of God. Because we running a race. And you better finish it. You done started it, you better finish it. Don't do nothing. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 9. Paul was telling you about this race. Telling you about it. We all understand this great word. All of us in here got a little nice understanding of the word. And we tell everybody. But don't have no temperance and no self-control. You can drop the ball. Here it is, you'll be left outside the door and they be in, the ones you done taught. 1 Corinthians 9 and 24. Go ahead and read.
Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize?
We got the, little civil races out there, little worldly races, but only one person win a prize. Go ahead and read.
So run that you may obtain.
But you run that you may obtain. Go ahead and read.
And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things.
When you, about this matter, you are temperate in all things. Go ahead and read.
Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
They get a little trophy, a little medal or something like that. A little corruptible crown. Go ahead and read.
But we an incorruptible.
See, we trying to get an incorruptible crown. One that will not be consumed. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead and read.
I therefore so run, not as uncertainly.
See, I'm running this thing and I ain't uncertain about this thing. I know this thing is real. Go ahead and read.
So fight I, not as one that beateth the
air. And I'm fighting and I ain't missing. I'm knocking down some things. Go ahead and read.
But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
See, you got to keep your body under subjection. You understand what I'm saying? Because Satan is going to dangle some things in front of you. But you got to have self-control and got to know what is good and what is not good. Go ahead and read.
Lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway.
Here it is. I done preached the gospel all this strong and hard. Here it is. Not drop the ball. Here it is, the resurrection coming. I'm watching everybody floating. I'm right there. Wait a minute. Let me go. I ain't going to make it. See, that is why it's so important for you to keep your body under subjection. And that's you got to have a temperance. Go ahead and we're going to pick it up at Galatians 5 and 24. We got one more after this, y'all. This is it. Just one more after this. Just going to deal with this. 5 and 24. Go ahead and read.
And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh.
Because if you belong to Christ, you done killed this flesh. Because you walking in the spirit. You ain't worrying about this flesh. Go ahead and read.
with the affections and lusts.
Go ahead.
If we live in the Spirit,
If we live in the Spirit, go ahead and read.
let us also walk in the Spirit.
If you're going to live in the Spirit, let us walk in the Spirit. And this is why. Let's go to John, the 4th chapter. Because the Lord created you after him in his image. Go to John, the 4th chapter. Here in John, the 4th chapter, the disciples had left the master. And they left him where the Samaritan woman was. And he told the woman to give him drink. And she said, it ain't, the Jews don't keep company with Samaritans. He said, if you knew who was asking you for this water, I'd have gave you some living water. So she said, wait a minute, give me some of them living waters. And then Jesus just gonna break down some things to her though. John 4:20. Go ahead and read.
Our fathers worshipped in this mountain.
She was saying that her father worshiped in this mountain. Go ahead and read.
And ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Jesus saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when you shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father.
Go ahead.
You worship, you know not what.
Because a lot of people tomorrow, they're going to worship some things, but they don't know, have no idea what they worship. Go ahead and read.
We know what we worship.
Because we know what we worship. We know what we doing. Go ahead and read.
For salvation is of the Jews.
Salvation is of the Jews. It is of the Jews. The Lord gave Israel the word to give to the people. Go ahead and read.
But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit.
See, the hour going to come when the true worshipers going to worship God in the spirit, right? Go ahead and read.
For the Father seeketh such to worship him.
See, that's who the Father seeketh, the ones that worship him in the spirit. Not in the flesh, but in the spirit. Go ahead and read.
God is a spirit.
See, God is a spirit. Go ahead and read.
And they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
And if you're going to worship God, you're going to have to worship him in spirit and in truth. So there you have it. What is the title of this lesson out here? Walk in the spirit or the lust of the flesh? Which will you choose? And I thank you. And I hope you learned something.
Good lesson.